Hello and welcome to EV Review Ireland. My name is Derek Reilly. Today we are with the Volkswagen ID Buzz. We're still in Copenhagen, but this is the cargo version, so the van version. So you may have picked on this because you want to get this for your business. Don't forget, we have a playlist of all the electric vans that are available here in Ireland. So exact same on the front. Yeah, you've got your sensors down low rather than up high. You don't have a frunk inside here, but the bonnet opens out. Large VW badge. And then you've got your sensors in underneath as well for parking. This one doesn't have the IQ lights, so these are the standard lights, so you don't have that side-to-side light bar. You've got some air on the side. Down over the wheels then, these come in 18, 19s and 20s. They don't go up to 21s on the cargo version. This is lovely candy white with this blue two-tone effect. Large gloss black wing mirror with your indicator built in. On the passenger side you have your sliding door. This is the standard version. You can get it with a double sliding door. You can get them with automatic opening ones. It's the same length as the passenger version, 4.7 meters. It's the same width, about 2 meters, the same height, about 2 meters, and the wheelbase is about 3 meters. And you've got your charge flap at the back here, AC at 11 kilowatts and DC up to 170 kilowatts. And you also have the design language harking back to the original Bully Volkswagen from nearly 60 years ago. With the IQ matrix lights, you'll get that side-to-side LED matrix light, but on the standard version it comes in a blacked out plastic version. Cargo version you've got the shark fin aerial at the top there, gloss black. You've got the high level brake light, you've got the window wiper, which is great to see, large VW badge, ID Buzz writing, and then like the passenger version it is a power tail lift. You can also get that in a swing door, which is very handy if you don't need to have the overhead and if you're in tighter spaces. In the back here you can fit 2 Euro pallets. Between the wheel arches is 1.9 meters. The overall cubic volume is 3.9 cubic meters. And I'll stick the length and the dimensions up on the screen, but lots of useful attachment points, tie-off points, etc., all the way around the van. And then the bulkhead can be done in a sealed, it can be done with a window, and it can be done with a hatch as well if you've got longer load items to put through, but really useful overall. With cargo as well, the fact that you can only take about 700 kgs in the back of it, you may want to tow something, so you have the ability of putting the tow bar in underneath. And that will tow up to 1,000 kgs, and with the all-wheel drive version you will be able to do 1,800 kgs. To take it away, you press the button again and then you just kick it down. As promised, I'm going to give you some of the dimensions on screen here, but you have a load length of 2.2 meters and a width of 1.7 meters. Colours in Ireland, we're getting only the body coloured bumpers and the two-tone, so there's a couple of solids, a couple of metallics, and I said that two-tone blue and white one like on the review. But in the United Kingdom and maybe other markets, you're also going to get a more it's called a cargo commercial, where it doesn't have body cut bumpers, and I'm not sure if this is a design disaster or is it being practical. And as a van driver for as long as I was, I know that it should be more practical. I'm like the different colours there, the lighter colours definitely, it definitely stands out, that front and rear bumper. Darker colours not as much. And on the configurator, if you select the two-tone, it says you can only get it with the body coloured bumpers. So that's the one that I was driving today, with that candy white and that navy at the bottom. So yeah, interesting to see, and I wasn't aware of this colour option because I was only looking at the Irish market, but I just had to pop over to the UK configurator, and yeah, it's not as nice with the non-body coloured bumpers. Speaking of practicality, you also have some storage hatches in underneath the floor, and this is ideal place for your charging cables. And there was another van at the place where I was filming in. It had the twin sliding doors, and it has a higher trim level. It has the saddlebags. It also had the IQ lights, which meant that it had the side-to-side front bar and the LED matrix, and the more stylish rear light, side-to-side bar on the rear as well. Really nice. Lastly, it had the twin seats, captain's chairs with the armrests, and this would be the trim I'd be going for when I was buying a van. So with the ID Buzz cargo or passenger version, it's very similar inside in certain aspects, but then in different aspects it's not. So you at the door, it's the same. You've got the same controls for the windows, the front windows, and the wiper or the side mirrors. You've got some pockets. You've got the ability to open the power tail gift, and you've got a deep bin down underneath. Over my left knee is the switch gear for the panel for the lighting. You also have where you'd leave your key. Steering wheel is the exact same, touch haptic sensors, same as all the ID models, and you've got the gear selector on the stalk, but the binnacle is separate and it has reach and rake. And it has a slightly smaller screen. It's got a 10-inch screen, again with the touch panel in underneath. Then we start to get a different setup to the passenger version. You've got some large storage in underneath. This comes with the smoker pack, but you also have USB Type-C ports here for your phone. You've got some non-slip. You've got your... Different to the passenger version, you've got this large dash up on top where you could store documents, lots of stuff up there. You've USB Type-C and a 12 volt. You don't have the ID light on the cargo version. You also have the difference in the seats. It comes as standard with the bench seat, but you can get it in 2 pilot chairs. You don't have a armrest on this version, which I'm just a bit disappointed about. Non-slip flooring in underneath, which is great. Hard wearing, can be washed down. You also have the ability, we talked about it, this one has the glass window hatch, but this can be solid. So overall, well finished. You could see yourself doing a day's work on this and it feels like a car because it's pretty much based on the same platform as the ID 4, 5, 3 and the Buzz Passenger. Let's take it out for a spin. This video is in partnership with Nevo.ie, Ireland's dedicated EV website. Nevo is on a mission to create a seamless transition to electric driving for everyone. Browse different trim levels, book your test drive of the Volkswagen ID Buzz Cargo and much more on Nevo.ie today. Let's take it out for a drive. What's it like driving the ID Buzz Cargo van? I'm in my happy place. For those of you who know me, you know, and if you've been a subscriber to the channel, if you haven't already done so, please do so. We're on a drive to 10,000 subscribers by the end of 2022. Well, you'll have not heard me talking in the past because there is an electric van playlist, and I was a van driver in my past, and the van that I drove for nearly 560,000 kilometers was a Volkswagen Caddy. So I'm well used to driving Volkswagen vans a long distance. And this will replace the Caddy. There won't be an electric Caddy because they said the form factor, this is probably ideal for a number of different uses. You're going to be using the Volkswagen ID Buzz. It is a permanent magnet synchronous motor connected to the rear axle. Max power is 150 kilowatt with 204 PS with 310 Newton meters of torque. It has a top speed of 145 kilometers an hour and 0 to 100 in 10.2 seconds. It's definitely different to the passenger version, and so what we're having is there's a lot more black plastics. It definitely feels more up on top of you because it's such a vertical dashboard. Cavernous space, and there's cubby holes and storage facilities everywhere. And with the steel bulkhead, this one has the window, but even with the regular steel bulkhead, the acoustics is much lower because it's only a tiny little cabinet and would be much easier to heat it as well. You do have a heated driver's seat, just not the bench. And I'm just wondering if you have the passenger seat, I assume that will come heated as well. Size of the battery is 77 kilowatt hour, max AC charging is 11 kilowatt and max DC is 170 kilowatt. Charging time from 0 to 100% on an 11 kilowatt, which is not the norm in Ireland, is 7.5 hours. So on a 7 kilowatt, probably around 10 hours. And then a charging time on DC of 5% to 80% is half an hour if you can find a 170 kilowatt. And the fact that it has the ISO plug and charge capability, so you're signing into your WeCharge account through Volkswagen, it knows there's a payment attached to the actual vehicle, and the sponsors or the partners for this video is Nevo Charging and Nevo, and all of the chargers that they're going to be putting in publicly will have the ability of this plug and charge ISO standard. So the ability to do that in a commercial vehicle like the Tesla system is exactly what people are looking for. They don't want more apps, they don't want more fobs, etc, etc. They want the ability to either plug and charge or tap to pay, and Nevo will have both of that when that network starts rolling out. You can put a roof box on it, and at max kg is 100. Towing capacity, braked is 1000 kgs, and unbraked then is, I think it's 850. Front axle is McPherson strut with coil dampeners, and then rear axle is the multi-link suspension. The steering is the same as the ID4, ID5, the Buzz Passenger. There's a lot similarities to it because it's on that MEB platform with the same battery. I wish that Volkswagen would have put a bit of weight in the back of it. So the max capacity, as we talked about 640 kgs. So it would have been nice to have tested it with some weight in the back of it on the recent Ford e-Transit trip in Barcelona. And you'll see the link for that on the screen. That you can see that a bit of weight in the back of it really helps with the review of it. WLTP consumption figure slightly higher. It goes from 20.4 all the way up to 22.2 within that range. Speaking of range, the WLTP is between 402 and 425, so very similar to the passenger version. So with the ID Buzz, you have adaptive cruise control, and you also have side assist, lane change assistance. So there's lots of them. Driver assist that are here. Semi-automated driving assistance, which is the assisted lane change. Load height is 632 millimeters to the top of the floor in the back. Sliding doors, the width and the height is 757 millimeters wide by 1.162 meters high. Steering wheel is a good size as always, and that binnacle that moves up and down with the actual steering column, you're always going to see it behind the steering wheel, which is exactly what other manufacturers should be looking at. Sometimes the steering wheel cuts through the viewing angle of what you're trying to see. The brakes are weighted excellently, and you have two-stage regeneration. You have D mode, which is adaptive, and then B mode, which is the high regeneration, but it's not one pedal driving. Saying that, the brake feel is good. It's not too bitey. Accelerator is really nicely weighted, and you also have different drive modes. So you have Eco, Comfort, Sport, and Individual. It's interesting coming into the Cargo, and it doesn't have the ID light because it's something that's really handy for navigation. I've turned off the sat nav so you can hear me talking, and when I was driving the passenger Buzz earlier today, I could still see the lights and the indication. Another thing that I haven't seen on a Buzz yet is head-up display. I'm trying to think, did it have it? I think it did have it in the concept version, or the near production ready version that I had, the wrapped one on the channel. I'm pretty sure that had a head-up display. So it'll be interesting to see if that's going to come to market. I haven't seen it in any of the versions today, but I'll have a quick look around the car park when I get back, and if I see it, I'll stick the footage up here now. So it's not perfect by any means with regards to the steering wheel and the buttons on that. The buttons, or the lack thereof, on the infotainment system, and you were just going to have to live with it because this is the route that Volkswagen are going down. But practicality wise, and the ability to have an electric vehicle as iconic as this, I think is phenomenal. Commercially, I think this is going to be a huge success for Volkswagen. The range of 400 odd WLT, so you're probably talking real world with a load probably near to the 300, but that's still 300 kilometer range, and there isn't much else within the space that's given at that. The new e-Vito is going there, but their WLTP is 315 before load, but in a very efficient electric vehicle. So it'll be good to see back-to-back, head-to-head between an e-Vito and the ID Buzz Cargo. That'd be a great comparison, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to get both vehicles at the same time on the channel, but it's definitely something that this size of vehicle, which is great for underground car parks, for city, because of that roof height is less than 2 meters. It's exactly what people want. Let me know in the comments if you're thinking of getting an electric van, if this is going to be on your list. Is the cargo capacity, the weight of the cargo just not enough for you? And with the bigger battery, that weight will probably come down again, and it's all to do with the overall weight of the vehicle and the license that you have. Hopefully you've enjoyed my review of the Volkswagen ID Buzz Cargo. If you're interested in electric vans, don't forget to check out the playlist of all the electric vans. I think there's only 20 up there now. And remember, if you think an EV is for you, leave it to me and I'll review. Thank you very much for watching.